Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of Off Cooldown. It's me again, Newt, and I'm with Cal and Q. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Tonight, we have our first ever sponsored episode. We were sent by Avermedia a live streamer kit 311. It's a 3-in-1 package meant to be a starter kit for new streamers and content creators. Inside the box is a webcam, a capture card, and a USB microphone. Everything you need to start a career in content creation. So, we did get hold of the products and tested them out individually, but for this review, each one of us will be talking about one of each of the three equipment. And we'll start off with the webcam. Take the floor, Q.
Okay, so the webcam is called the PW313, or the full title is the Live Streamer Cam 313. And like the other items in the set, it's marketed towards people who are starting out, sort of like a good one for beginners, both for the price and what you could do out of it, which was perfect for me because this is my first time actually having a legitimate, or what I would consider to be a legitimate webcam. Before this, I was mostly working with laptop webcams, or sometimes my phone connected to the same network as my PC, which, there's certainly alternatives, but not very good ones. So the camera itself, it records in full HD, so that means 1080p, and it can go up to 30 FPS. It's got a fixed focus, which means that you won't be having any of the fancy autofocus here, nor will you actually be able to, even with the software, change the focal point. It's got a built-in microphone, only mono audio. We'll talk more about the quality of that in a bit. And it's a plug-and-play USB 2.0. So what I liked about it is that, well, first of all, it was really convenient to set up because, for one thing, it's got all the standard mounts that you could want out of it. It's got a friction mount, so you can mount it to the top of your laptop, the top of your monitor. It doesn't really need any kind of mounting hardware because it really just sits there, and there's like this sort of abrasive surface on the back, a rubberized surface that just hooks onto the monitor really, really easily. And then you just plug it in, and then it works with anything. No need to install any drivers, any software. Although there is an optional software package for it called the Avermedia Cam Engine. The advantage of using the Cam Engine is that it lets you change some of the onboard features of the camera, like brightness, contrast, maybe add a sharpness filter. It also comes with a bunch of other filters that, well, I didn't really use them much, but I did try them out. Things like facial tracking for if you want to put an overlay on your face. And it would then output those to a digital camera, like a digital version of the camera, which you could then plug into any other streaming software of your choice. So you could use it on anything from Discord to Zoom to OBS or anything else that could use a camera input. So the camera is pretty sharp, surprisingly. Like, even in low light settings where normally you would find that they get pretty grainy or they end up having this sort of blurry, halo-y effect around the edges, I didn't find that to happen a lot with the PW313. And I have a pretty low light room. Like, it gets pretty dim in my room. I only have a single light source overhead and a desk lamp that's not very bright. But it works pretty fine even in those kinds of lighting conditions. As for the focus, like I said, it's a fixed focus camera, and I find that the focus is a little bit too far for most applications. Like, I feel like when I'm relatively close to the camera, I'm not in focus, and I have to be pretty far back. I think a bit further back than most people would be using this camera to be in focus. So that could definitely use some improvement. But overall, at the sizes that I'm looking at the camera, since I'm not displaying it in full screen most of the time, and if you would be streaming, you'd probably just be like on the smaller edge of your screen. You probably wouldn't be like filling up the whole screen yourself, so it isn't really that noticeable at the resolutions that you actually normally see the output at. The mic quality it's okay, but it's what you would expect coming from a webcam. Like, this is just it's got dual microphone input, but it outputs mono audio, and considering the distance and the noise in the average room that person would have, maybe from air conditionings or electric fans, it does about as well as you would expect a webcam to, or maybe your standard phone microphone. So it's definitely usable, but since you'd probably end up buying the kit anyway and it comes with the microphone, I would suggest using that over the built-in mic, but it's there should you need the option. The build quality of the camera itself, it's pretty good. It's got a lot of articulation. It's got like a ball joint at the top, which you can swivel 360 degrees, and you can tilt it upward and downward, so it can really fit to any angle that you might need it to. Personally, I've tried it in configurations where a standard desk height, so it would show my bust. I've tried it at heights where it would be pointing downward at my desk, so I could like take a video of my mouse and keyboard setup, or maybe my tablet drawing setup, or things like that. And it does pretty well and it holds its place. And if you need to do some more complex placement, it also has a standard tripod mount underneath it, so you can screw that into, any tripods, gorilla pods, any monopods, anything of those sorts. So yeah, overall, I would say that it's a very pleasant experience for me, especially as someone who's got a first-time legitimate webcam. And I would definitely recommend it to other people who are starting out.
And actually, if you're starting out and you just built your PC, usually those don't have webcams in the kits. So this is definitely something that you can pick up. And actually, you don't even need to install the software if you already are used to using OBS or Streamlabs. This webcam is plug and play. It uses a USB to connect to the computer, and as long as it can be detected, as long as you're using the most latest drivers for your computer, as long as the computer can detect the webcam is connected, you can use it right immediately as soon as you connect it. You don't really have to download any more softwares. But as Q already mentioned, if you're using that software, it can lead to better configurations, better settings if you want to change some things up. And one of the things that I like best for this one is its shutter for privacy. Because a lot of people really put a premium when it comes to privacy, especially if you're giving this webcam to like a child or a student. A lot of people are buying webcams nowadays because it's required from the school. Sometimes the teachers require students to be on cam during classes, and while it doesn't have an autofocus, it's not really needed in all situations, especially if you're just in a meeting or you're in a class and you just have to appear in the meeting. You don't really have to worry about the autofocus so much. So for most webcams, this is a really good pickup, especially if you're just starting out in your career, or even if you're not streaming, if you're just using it for all purposes, it's a very good pickup. And actually, for an HD camera, it works as advertised, although it doesn't go beyond 30 FPS like in other cameras for fancier builds. But it's better than most laptop webcams out there that comes right out of the box. So if you're looking to upgrade your laptop setup, this is also a good one to pick up. And that's
Yeah,
it.
and also on that on the work from home angle, like the simplicity of setup and the fact that you don't actually need to have additional software, and based on what I've seen, how well it performs even in not very good lighting conditions, means that people who would use this outside of the live streaming sense could definitely take advantage of the really easy plug and play nature, and that you don't have to worry too much about how well lit the environment you're in is when it comes to using it. So it has that whole aspect of ease of use.
It's also very lightweight and compact, so you can bring it around. Its shape is kind of weird, if you can't exactly fit it in a pocket or put in a pouch, but it's very lightweight, very portable, and because of the 360 swivel design, you can actually contort it a bit to make it fit in weird angles or weird places if you're moving around, if you bring a laptop around and suddenly you need a webcam because you suddenly have a meeting while you're working in the cafe or something like that. It's definitely good as well because there are webcam options out there that are way cheaper, but they're also very bulky. Yeah, I've seen cameras like that. This one's really good and it fits snugly well. Yeah, I've tried it on my laptop. It fits snugly well on the edges of the webcam screen. So that gets a big plus for me also.
And it's although it's mostly made, the webcam itself is mostly made of plastic. The base plate that it's sitting on is made of metal, and it's not very heavy. Like it feels pretty light, but I do feel like the construction is rather solid. Like I haven't experienced any looseness on the swivel of both the friction mount on the back or the swivel of the actual webcam itself. And I've had this for a couple of weeks now, and I have been playing around with the movement of it. I've tried mounting it on different places, like I mentioned earlier, because I've been trying out different angles of taking videos of my desk. And so far so good. I hope that the build quality holds up. Certainly seems like it will.
So regardless of what kind of streaming setup you have, this webcam, if you don't have a webcam yet, this is a good place to start, you know. And of course, what pairs well with the webcam, especially if you're playing on a console, would be a game recording or a live gamer capture box, which is also included in the box. And Cal, will you please describe to us the game capture card that is included in the package?
Okay, so the game capture card included in the package is the Avermedia GC311 Live Gamer Mini Capture Card. So the name is quite a mouthful, but I was really impressed by when I tested it out, because like for me, this was also my first time using a capture card. I do play on console a lot, but I usually just use the built-in PS4 share, what have you, software. So this was my first time like trying to record software using my PC. So this time I tried it with my Switch. So I was quite surprised it was super easy to use, because this is also my first time using my Switch on a dock. So I learned how to use the Switch on a dock, and then I learned how to use the capture card with it. So the GC311 is actually super easy to set up. It just has like 3 ports: HDMI in, HDMI out, and then the USB power cable that you attach to your CPU. And then once you plug it in, you basically just turn the switch on, and then it detects it, and then it just works. It's plug and play. I did also use the proprietary software, which I'll get to later. So first, let's get through the GC311's specifications. So its max resolution for recording and streaming is both 1080p 60 FPS. It has 2 HDMI ports, one in, one out. And also it is extremely small. I was super surprised because the box is quite big, but when I opened it, it was actually like a small black box that kind of looks like it fits in your pocket. It's only 4 inches by 2.3 inches by 0.74 inches. So it really doesn't occupy a lot of desk space. In my desk, it's just like next to my keyboard and like occupies a tiny corner there next to the Switch. So it's really cute and really easy to use. So I feel like if for some reason you have like an impromptu game capture session with friends when we get to go out of our houses again, it would be really useful. So yeah, what else? I used the Avermedia proprietary software, which is called Avermedia Rec Central, to capture my gameplay from the Switch, and it was also very intuitive. It's not super customizable, like you can put overlays and stuff, but for like what it's advertised for capturing gameplay itself, you can definitely use it. You can also stream from there. I tried both, and yeah, it's pretty smooth. I didn't see any like disconnect with my gameplay. I didn't see any delay. So yeah, it was very useful, and it's very easy to use. That was like kind of impressive. I didn't expect to be able to use it in 15 minutes, but I was.
Yeah, actually, one good thing about it is it's considered as a video input when you plug it in. So just like the webcam earlier, it also works plug and play. So if you already have existing setups like OBS or Streamlabs, you can use this right off the box. It's going to be detected as a video capture device by your software or whatever you use, and you can use it right off the box. Easy as that. And yeah, as Cal mentioned, it's very lightweight, which is very surprising because when we opened the box, the whole package is heavy. Although that's not because of the webcam nor the capture card. But picking up the capture card, holding it in my hand, it feels like it's just an empty shell, right, Cal? When you hold it, it feels like it's just an empty shell. And you know, if there's I haven't heard of a traveling Switch streamer yet, you know, or a traveling streamer, but I think this product can really help turn someone into a traveling streamer. You know, if you're a backpacker and you travel all around the world and somehow you get to bring your PS5 or your Switch with you, and wherever you go you get to find a PC and a monitor, TV, you can definitely bring this around. Your only problem would be carrying around all the other stuff for streaming. And it's really great. So if you're the kind of streamer who uses a streaming kit or a streaming game capture card at home, but you also bring it to work for some reason, because there are content creators who do have agencies, so they have to um, create content at home. They also have to create content in their office or in their studio. This one is very easy to carry around, and you only need very minimal cables for this one. And most likely, you also have that in your office. You also have that at home. Um, it uses regular USB connection, right?
Yep.
Micro USB on one side, and then as Kyle mentioned, two HDMI ports, one in and one out. And I have experience with other capture cards before. I have another capture card that stutters if you don't use a USB 3.0 port on your PC. Like, it stutters, its FPS is way down, and it can capture 30 FPS only at 720p. But this GC311 game capture box that we tried out, it's very smooth regardless of what game we play, regardless of what console we played in. Cal tried it out with what games did you play with this, Cal?
I tried it on Pokemon Unite and Fire Emblem Three Houses.
And yes, those are very lightweight games, right? Even though they're very heavy hitting, the animations aren't that taxing on the unit. But I
Yeah.
did try using this with fighting games. In games that really require really high frame rates, it doesn't stutter at all. Yeah, I played Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and the footage was completely smooth, no problems. I also played using I also played Super Smash Brothers Ultimate using this capture card, and it didn't drop a single frame. And I was just using the regular USB ports in my PC when I was capturing it, and it didn't experience any frame loss or any quality loss whatsoever. So it's really good quality. Its build really betrays its functionalities, its quality. Because when you hold it, it feels cheap. It's very light. It feels like it's going to break if you drop it. But it's very full of it's very quality material. It's very good in capturing whatever gameplay footage you have, or whatever game that you're trying to capture there.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of functionality in a small package. It's really the size that kind of really impressed me.
So we just have to specify as well, right? Because we're already moving on to the next generation of consoles. 4K is becoming the next big thing. We just have to warn everyone who's going to be picking this up. It can only do as far as 1080p. Now, that's not a big problem because not everyone's doing 4K anyway. And if you're recording for a live streaming audience, sometimes you might also just prefer 1080p because of bandwidth issues. But if you're going to go after 4K, you won't be getting that from the GC311, but Avermedia also has products that are more premium if you're going for 4K. I just felt like we should warn those who are getting into this. Probably you have a PS5 or an Xbox Series X and you're thinking about using this one to record your gameplay. It will only record up to 1080p.
Yeah, but that's kind of perfect for a starter kit, isn't it? Which is, what this whole kit is about. And like Newt mentioned earlier, Avermedia has products for people who are more accustomed to or planning to go, bigger on these sorts of things. They have more premium products for people who want to record in 4K or who want like a 4K UHD webcam. They also have something for that. And, whatever features you might have, I'm pretty sure they have a product right at your level.
Yeah, but the Avermedia live streaming kit is perfect for those who are just wanting to starting out their content creation career. You don't have to splurge right away on equipment when you're starting out. You can just try to fill it out using entry-level equipment, so to speak. And these ones are, it's not gonna break the bank, but they're perfect for what you're trying to achieve for here. But actually, for this entire product, we're saving the best for last, right? Because the true heavyweight for the whole package is the Avermedia AM310 USB microphone. It's the literal heavyweight of this package. Like, if you open the box, most of the weight's just because of this one. The material is, if we were talking about how impressively light the Live Gamer Mini was earlier. This one speaks premium because it's so heavy. It's made of good quality metal. There's kind of metal that feels cheap even if they're heavy. This one feels premium. It's so shiny and it smells nice. It's a weird way to describe a microphone, but it smells nice. Yeah, so about the specs of this microphone. This microphone is a condenser mic. It has a unidirectional input. If you don't know what that means, basically just speak in front of it, and that's all that matters. It's going to work, and it works really well for podcasting or when you're doing meetings and if you're streaming. And it comes with a sturdy stand that lets you set it right up at your desktop. But it also has configurations that allows it to be set up on whatever mic stands you already have existing. And it's a bit heavy, as I mentioned, because of its metal material. So you might want to have a mic stand that can carry a lot of weight. Thankfully, the stand that it comes with is really sturdy as well. It's meant to be placed on top of a desktop, preferably right in front of you. So that's the kind of way it's meant to be used. And for the sound quality, we don't have a lot of problems with it. It doesn't take in so much noise. So if you're actually recording and you have experience with audio manipulation, if you need to clean it out, there's not much problems because it's, as I mentioned, it's unidirectional. So it's really just going to take in sound from right in front of it. And if there's something making noise behind it, it's not going to pick that up. And the voice quality, from what we've recorded, it's very clear and very crisp. And it even has a convenient button at its volume dial that can turn it on and off. If you're paranoid and you see that you're muted already in the meeting, but you just want to be extra sure, you can also press on the microphone to turn it off. So you're double muted. You're definitely not going to be heard at that point. And it's also easy to see if you're muted or not because there's a LED light that tells you whether or not it's on or off. It's red if it's off and then it's blue when it's on. And when you're trying to do pre-production or if you're testing or you want to hear how you sound like when using this microphone, there's also an AUX slot at the back which you can use for playback. So you can plug in a headphone or a speaker and you can hear your beautiful voice as you speak. And that will help you, sometimes you can record yourself and then save the file and then listen again to yourself to see how you're being recorded. But with this one, you can hear immediate feedback on how you sound like just by using the AUX slot at the back.
And on that AUX slot, it's also really useful for people who are doing any kind of live shows or wear closed back earphones, because a lot of the time you can't actually monitor the way that you sound when you're speaking, when you're wearing closed back earphones, or if you're in the middle of a live show and you don't have the chance to, play it back at a later time. So having that option to monitor is really, really useful. And it's also not something that you normally find for bikes, at this entry level. So I think it was a really good feature that they had on there.
And this is really perfect for those who are just starting out. You don't have to have a lot of complicated settings or features if you're just starting out. You just need the mic, and this one works really, really well. I have more expensive condenser microphones that have different options for its input directions. You can do multi-directional or you can do surround. But for something, if you're just starting out as a streamer and you're really just using it for your live stream or for your own content creation, and there's really just you in your show, you don't have anyone else in your show, like you don't have a partner, or you're actually just alone in your studio or in your room, you don't really need those options. You don't need to have multi-directional or surround capture or surround input for your condenser microphone. So I feel that this microphone is really perfect for those who are just starting out. If you don't know what to pick up, this one is a very safe choice. And if you're really going after the entire setup, you can just pick up the entire package, the Avermedia Live Streamer Kit 311, and get all of the 3 products that we mentioned and be set off for life. Well, not for life, but for starting out your content creation and streaming career.
Okay, so that was our review of the Avermedia Live Streamer Kit 311. We hope you guys found that insightful, and if you think that the product is for you, you can find a link in the description to purchase yours from onward.ph and get a 420 peso discount. If you're buying one of these, please do use the affiliate link. It's really going to help us out with our channel, and it's going to help us continue to do the kind of content that we do here at Off Cooldown. So that's it for this episode. Thank you again for listening in, and we hope to see you again next week. This has been Q, and I'm here with Cal and Neutral. Say bye, guys,
Bye.
and we'll see you next week.